Hey, it's JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, I want to talk to you guys about a crazy story coming out of Nashville, Tennessee. And the questions that I have for you guys is whether or not it is self-defense or is murder. All right. I want you guys to leave your thoughts below. But before we get into this detailed story about a young woman by the name of Kiana Wilson, I want us to flash back real quick to a story that we got into on last week for the people that may not have known about this. But it's just crazy because this is a different story, but still similar. It still involves a cheating husband, right? So last week we got into this story about this 39-year-old coach. I believe he was a football coach out of Birmingham, Alabama. He was at some young lady's house. She was about 21 years of age. They were at her house doing whatever. It was like, I believe it was like towards the nighttime. I'm going to say evening to nighttime when he was over at her home. Well, the young lady's estranged 23-year-old boyfriend or whatever he was to her came to her home, came inside the home, found the man inside her bed and shot him dead. Okay. And then fled the home. Right. Not only, like I said, was this man messing with this young girl. It wasn't like it was a girlfriend situation where he had a girlfriend, this the side chick. No, this man was married with a child out of Birmingham, Alabama, and unfortunately lost his life from messing around with this young lady. All right. Such a crazy story. I do believe that they may have had his funeral. And I really feel for the wife and the child in the situation because your life changed drastically so fast, it's just, and then you lost this person, then you got to deal with how you lost the person, you got to deal with what they were doing, right, as far as cheating on you, and then having to explain to your child that their dad is no longer here and why. Like, that's a lot that this woman is about to go through, especially as we enter into the I would say like the dark phase in a sense of the year, in my opinion. Halloween is going to be coming up soon. Then we have the holidays, you have Thanksgiving, Christmas. And this is a time where, as it gets colder, a lot of people stay inside the house more. When you're inside the house more, in my personal, your thoughts really get to your head. You really in your head a lot. That's where a lot of the depression and things come on. So I really feel, for this woman who lost her husband so soon in the way that she did, to learn the details about what was going on and then having to deal with your child that is going to be asking a lot of questions likely. And holidays not gonna be the same because it's not with your personal, with your child's dad. And I just, I hate it for her. I really do. I hate it for her and being forced into a space of having to be a single mama because you don't have that man there anymore. Like, it's a lot. So I hate that for her. And now this situation that we're about to get into is just that much more crazier. All right. So this is a story about a woman by the name of Kiana Wilson. From my understanding, I do believe she has a nickname, but I won't put it out there. But anyway, her name is Kiana Wilson, and this is her husband, Amado, I think is how they may pronounce his name, Wilson. He has completely gotten off Facebook, it appears. I'm not sure if this took place before or after the passing of his wife, but this story has been very crazy. This husband was caught out there cheating on his wife with this alleged woman right here. I do believe her name is KlLLED. This is the image that people are attaching to this story. So this is allegedly Miss KlLLED. All right. People have been putting out a lot of narrative saying that she already had a criminal record. I'm not sure if she did or did not, but we're going to get into the story. All right. And the first thing I want us to do is hop over here and get into the Nashville police report, where they are stating that it was a fatal shooting and it is under investigation still, is what they are saying. They're saying homicide detectives are investigating Monday's early morning shooting inside of a Scout Drive residence that fatally wounded Kiana Wilson, who was 42. They're saying Wilson reportedly went to the residence looking for her husband, who was in a dating relationship with KlLLED, also the age of 42. This is sad. This sad, girl. This says, y'all see what y'all husbands be doing? Not y'all husbands, but I'm saying like these cheating husbands. Y'all see what y'all cheating husbands be out here getting the people caught up into, right? I know you guys are going to have a lot to say, but leave it in the comments below, right? They're saying that Wilson located her husband's car behind the residence and used her key to move the vehicle to the front. She then knocked on the front door. After some time, they're saying Greer began speaking to Wilson through the home surveillance system speaker. Now, both women got into a heated argument over the speaker about whether Wilson's husband was inside. Wilson attempted to forcibly enter into this woman's home. Greer fired one shot into the storm door. Wilson was not struck. They said she gained entry and the two women engaged in a physical struggle. Greer fired a second time, and Wilson was struck in the abdomen. She exited the residence and drove a short distance in her husband's car before flagging down an officer outside the Madison precinct. She was transported to Skyline Medical Center, where she died. After consultation with the district attorney's office, they're saying no charges were placed at this time. A determination of possible charges will be made after further investigation. So this is what they are saying happened. Okay. This man was at this. I believe the man was there. If she went to the house, saw the man car, obviously the man was parked behind the home for a reason. He was trying to hide from his wife, but she must have had a tracker on the vehicle, maybe a tracker on his phone to be able to locate where he was. Or it seems to me, if it's possible, that he had been messing with the lady before and she knew exactly where to go. That's possible too. That Kiana knew exactly where to go, which was to Keosha's house, because maybe she found her man there before. Knocked on the door, girl, is my man in his house or whatever? And the thing for me is this. I believe the husband was at the house. Now, they're not saying that he was in the home. However, the vehicle was found at the house, right? But I will say that I believe he was at the house. And to know that your wife and this woman is going back and forth, and to know that this lady already fired one round and you didn't try. I don't know if he tried to stop it, but my question is, did you try to stop it? Did you at least say, let me just sit down. Let me just go out there and talk to her. It ain't even got to be like this. Let me just go out there. I'm finna go ahead and head out. Why would you not just leave? See, I feel like there are other details that I would definitely love to know about. Like I'm because why would you just not at least try to shut everything down? She already over there because of you. Granted, I don't think that Kiana should have went over to this woman's house. I don't, let alone trying to forcibly enter into the home, right? So I feel like you should have took that car and drove it home and let him figure out how he was going to get to the house. Now, at the minimum, maybe that. At the minimum, maybe that. Are you in her house? You want to be there? Okay, especially if your name was on that car in any fashion, it's definitely given. Let me go ahead and head out. Okay. Let me go and take this car. Let me go back home. You want to be here so bad? Let that bring you to the house. And when she bring you, and get out. Is what it's giving to me. Everybody handles things differently. But, I feel like at the age, of 40, in your 40s, I just feel like at some point, I feel like this is probably what you do when you're younger. Pull up on there, girl, da 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 da, whatever. But as you get older, you get wiser. I would want to believe, and because she ends up being a victim in this situation because she did die. So I don't want to blame her, but I do want to be logical about it at the same time, that I don't think that was in her best interest, especially behind this trifling ass man. And some part of me does want to believe that this ain't the first time that she probably caught him. Now, there have been statements that I've seen people make where they're saying these individuals have been together since high school. Not sure, but I do know that they got married in 2016. So it was coming up on about 10 years of them being married to each other. I know she did a special post to him back in 2024. It was some time ago, though. I believe it was closer to the earlier part of the year. I believe she was highlighting. Let me see if I have that post. I'm likely not going to put it on the screen, but we shall see. I can at least read it to you guys. Let's see. Do I have that one? Okay, no, I don't have that one on my screen. I do have the one that she made from 2020 when she was pretty much celebrating them and their anniversary and just being happy and talking about the different things that he taught her as a great partner, a dad, a man, a friend. She said that he showed her a true example of what that's supposed to look like, right? It is understood that she does have children. Those children are older. Not sure if those children belong to him or not. But it's still all very, very unfortunate. Let's see what else we can get into over here. At this time, like they said, no arrest has been made. I will say, on this public record, it does have Keosha's name, where it appears that she was admitted at some point. She was arrested on the 26th. I believe the incident may have taken place on the 25th of August. She was arrested on the 26th. Looks like she may have gotten some medical attention potentially. Maybe it wasn't. Well, they're saying the ladies got into a fight, right? At some point. That's what I'm also hearing. The ladies she got into the home, they got into a fight, whatever, and then Kiana was shot. But what they're also saying is that she was released. She came in, whatever, she was released. It appears that there were some charges sitting here at once upon a time, and now they're reflecting as zero charges because after I guess they talked to her, got additional details, they must have just removed the charges, but they're still investigating things at this time because I know it's unfortunate. I know a lot of people may feel like, but she murdered her or whatever. I understand that. But at the same time, she did come to that woman's house. Right. And when you come to a person's house, you're forcibly trying to enter their home. You're saying all kind of things to them. That person may feel threatened and they have a right to defend themselves inside their own home once you make entry. So that may be a reason as to why she will not be charged. I hope that this guy carries the weight on his shoulders of what he allowed to happen for the rest of his life. Right. And I'll tell you guys my other thoughts about it. And I could be going too far with this, y'all. And I know y'all gonna tell me anyway, honey, because that's just how y'all is. But it made me think about, and I feel like I'm gonna say it and get it out my head, but at the same time, I kind of feel like that may be a little bit unfair, right? But let's say this. So you know how in different states where a wife can sue a mistress for like what is it, alienation of affection, basically for cheating with her husband, right? So that can happen. And I'm kind of like, well, if your spouse gets unalived, based on said mistress or whoever messing around, like I feel like they should be sued for some form of emotional distress, right? But at the same time, like I feel like he should get some charges, period. That's what I'm saying. I feel like the husband should kind of get some charges just a little bit for putting his wife in a circumstance that led her down this road to end up dying. And even if it wouldn't have been a fact of her losing her life and it was just her getting into this altercation or whatever, I still feel like you are the reason. Like you pretty much led her down this path of pretty much insanity, losing her mind, doing things out of the norm because you was over there cheating on her. So I feel like he should be held accountable at this, I feel like he should be held accountable. But at the same time, it's kind of like she the one that did choose to go over to that lady's house, knock on her door. It's one thing to knock on her door and talk to her through, the surveillance, but then to bust through the door, some part is like, well, that's on you. You didn't have to do that. Right. It's also like, well, you went over there, you had keys to the car, you moved the car from the backyard to the front yard. You could have just left at that moment. Right. So some part of it is like, yes, I understand all of it's on her, but then if they put a little piece on him, I wouldn't be mad. Right. Um, However, that may be taking things too far. And I know y'all gonna let me know down in the comments, honey. I know y'all gonna do it because that's just how y'all is, right? But all in all, a very, very, very sad situation. Wow. Okay, so this is interesting. Oh wow. So when you go to Keosha Greer's name, when I went to that file where it shows her name and everything. She's not actively being charged, is what it says. There is a criminal history that you can click into. And with this public record, it seemed like she had a lot going on all the way back to 2003. But it looks like some of these charges may have been dismissed. A lot of them appear to be dismissed, though, but there are some guilty charges, but I'm not sure exactly what they're for. So I feel like, with this being said, in my personal, I'm like, I think that's the first thing some of you ladies need to do. If you catch your husband over here cheating or something, you might want to run a background check just to see exactly who you're dealing with. Okay. Um, It looks like some of her charges from the past where she may have pled guilty, it appears that they may be related to like theft or something like that. Like a suspended license is what she had. Some things that, people get. Okay, so it looked like she could have been caught stealing out of a store or whatever. And, that's back in 2001. But some of these other charges were definitely, you know, dis dismissed. Right. It looks like a majority of them. Some of the smaller things that she's had on her. Oh, say girl, what? Was this dismissed? It says closed, but was it dismissed? One count of first degree murder. Oh, it was dismissed. Okay, girl. I was finna say, like, what happened? Like, what? This girl clapped somebody? Well, she didn't. I don't know if she did or didn't, right? But whatever it was, there was a charge from this Keosha young woman back in 2005. And she was charged with attempted first degree murder. That's what it looks like. Not first degree murder, but attempted first degree murder. But the charge did end up being dismissed, is what it looks like. So it seems like she may not have had anything to do with what happened potentially. Not sure of the true circumstances surrounding that led to her dismissal, but there was a charge, but she was dismissed from it. Okay. And it looks like she may have gotten charged with something when this incident went down. And I guess after talking to her, getting more details, it's kind of making me think about Kai Frost. What's crazy is we've been dealing with a lot of these relationship things, these DV situations that led to, somebody dying. But this wasn't really a DV situation, and neither was the guy from the Demetrius guy from Birmingham. But it all involves cheating, right? Because I believe that is something that T Hood, the rapper from Atlanta, and Kirk's daughter Kelsey dealt with in their relationship, some infidelity or whatever. Then you had the Demetrius guy from Birmingham dealing with that. Now you have these individuals from Nashville where the husband was cheating with the side chick. Wife went over there, had some things to say, and the side chick ends up killing her, right? One of the news outlets are reporting, though, they did report that police said Wilson then knocked on the front door, and after some time, the other woman began speaking to Wilson through her home surveillance system. They both of the women argued. They're saying that soon Wilson did gain entry. The two began to fight. At some point, a second shot was fired by the other woman and struck Wilson in the abdomen, and that's when she left. And she didn't make it very far, from my understanding, but she did make it to like the police station, the police precinct. Ended up making it to the hospital where she ended up dying. And that's all behind a man that ain't talking about SHI, high key. And if he cheated on you with this woman, he probably cheated on you with others before that, potentially. I really hate that. Let us get into this news story, see if there's any other additional details that we did not capture. Let's see.
Police, a woman was shot and killed searching for her cheating husband. Now, we brought you this story. It's breaking news. This was yesterday morning. Police say 42-year-old Kiana Wilson was found shot inside a car. It was just outside the Madison Police Precinct. Investigators tell us she was actually shot inside a home on Scalf Drive. Investigators say she went to the home looking for her husband, who was in a relationship with another woman. Police say she got into an argument with the other woman, then tried to force her way into the house. That's when the woman shot Wilson in the stomach, according to police. Wilson drove away, flagged down an officer outside the precinct. She later died at the hospital. So far, no charges have been filed.
My thing is this, sir. Are you going to go to the funeral? Are you going to be instrumental in setting up this funeral for her? Like, that is so crazy that your husband is the reason, part of the reason as to why you're no longer here. And he's now about to plan your funeral. Girl, what? And after planning your funeral, putting you in the ground, whatever he decides to do, the crazy part is that man gonna be moved on by the end of the year if he not still messing with this Keosha young woman. Because who's to say Keosha still wants to deal with him after she just unalived his wife? right? She might still deal with him because the feelings are still there. Are they going to bond? Are they going to grow closer? What happens with your children? Are your children adults, young adults? Do they rely on him for anything? If they weren't his children, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't like him either. But these are just my thoughts, right? But this man gets to move on, go on about his life, date whoever he wants, do whatever he wants. He gets to just go. And then maybe make subtle posts here or there acting like he really sorry you gone or he miss you or whatever. But he out here just living his life while you're just memories. That's just really, really sad. And I feel like, listen, a lot of people can learn something from this child. Don't be running up on nobody trying to ask them that. Now, if you did that back in your day, it's a new day, okay? It's a new day. If you ain't ever done it before, should you be faced with that? I pray you never have to deal with that. But should you ever, don't run up on them folks, okay? You need to be a bit more calculated than what you really are, okay? Start ironing out your plan about how you finna get the hell up out this situation, okay? Especially, and I feel like she went over there and took that car because that car probably had her name on it. I wouldn't be surprised if that car was in her name or she was a co-signer or something like that, so she was able to hop in that mug and move it. And I think she should have kept on going home and let him figure out how he was going to get back to the house or to not. And when you get back to the house, get your shit. That's what you're getting back to the house to. You're getting back to the home for you to pick up your stuff and go back to where the hell you came from. Because it's real risky. It's real risky when people are out here, messing around, doing what y'all doing. Listen, consider the possibility that you could end up dead or one of the two people you messing with could end up dead. But when y'all over there doing y'all thing, who thinks about that, right? Who's thinking about that? Y'all not thinking about that. Y'all thinking of the thrill of the chase or whatever y'all got going on, the excitement of not getting caught and messing around, whatever y'all over there thinking, I don't know. Y'all likely are not thinking about you being killed or them. But the more these stories are happening like back to back to back, y'all might need to start considering it. Might have to start considering that. Okay? That's probably why some people don't go to folks' houses. They be trying to take them to hotels and stuff. Okay? Y'all got to be careful with that too. Make sure ain't nobody tracking the locations and stuff. I don't know, girl. Let me not try to show these people I don't know what y'all need to do. Y'all figure it out. Y'all cheating the system and your partners. So figure it out. There's another story another one I want to check out to see if there's any additional details. Is this the same one? This might be a different one. Or maybe this was first reported. Let's see.
Get right to this breaking news alert. Metro Police investigating a shooting reported in Madison.
Yeah, officers are on the scene there right now. Let's get right to Peyton Kennedy at the WKRN.com alert desk with a live look at the scene. Peyton, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, our first alert unit is currently on the scene here, so we'll show you that live picture. Metro Police tell us a woman flagged down an officer near the Madison Police Precinct on Myatt Drive. She said she had been shot just around the corner on Scalth Drive. The woman said this was a result of a domestic dispute. So police are now looking at this car. You see that silver vehicle on the screen there. We will keep you updated as we learn more on this investigation. And remember, News 2 brings you breaking news around the clock at WK.
That's sad, girl. That's sad. That's sad. That's sad, mamas. Rest in peace to her. Condolences to her family, her children. I don't know if she had kids with this man or not with this man or anything like that. But if they were with him, I see why you about deactivated your page, because now you would have to look your kids in the face, knowing that you contributed to this situation just a bit, right? But that's all I got, guys. I just wanted to come and give you guys that quick rundown of what's going on, what's happening out here in these streets. You guys can leave your thoughts and comments down below. I'm Jami, that's me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, honey. Bye.
Tell them I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I can face the rim, putting shots up. I got laser focus, about to take never wasted film, I can feel it pour